All right, folks, we've been covering the story of conservative activist Ed Blum and his vicious assault on the Fearless Fund, trying to shut them down for being able to assist black and women entrepreneurs. Tomorrow, the appeal, they go back to court. Ayanna Parsons is general partner of the Fearless Fund. She joins us right now. Glad to have you back on the show. So what's taking place tomorrow? Just explain to folks who are watching and listening exactly where we are in this fight.
Yeah, Roland, thank you so much for having me on. I don't think I've seen you since CBC. And just to break it down for the people, Fearless Fund is the first venture capital fund founded by women of color, investing solely in women of color-led businesses. We are a for-profit entity, and I serve as co-founder, general partner, and chief operating officer. There is a completely separate foundation, 501c3, called Fearless Foundation, of which I have no involvement. But Ed Blum and AAER, which stands for American Association of Alliance of Equal Rights, sued all of the Fearless entities as part of this lawsuit to stop critical funding from getting in the hands of the women who need it most. Black women are the most founded demographic of entrepreneurs, yet the least funded. And I like to think of it like a boxing match. We won the first round. The second round we lost, and tomorrow in federal court in Miami, we'll have round 3, and we will go before a 3-judge panel. We have an incredible team of attorneys that are supporting us pro bono, and I couldn't be more thrilled with the legal strategy and heading into tomorrow's oral arguments.
I mean, look, this has significant implications because it comes on the heels of the Supreme Court decision regarding affirmative action. You've had Ed Blum and others, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, other Republicans, some 16 different attorney generals telling law firms that they must stop their DEI initiatives. And so that's what this is all about. This is about the stopping of the advancement of black people to be able to participate in this capitalistic system.
It's absolutely correct, Roland. And I am a product of this system. I am a 4-time entrepreneur. My husband and I started what became the nation's not only leading Black-owned management consulting firm, Yardstick Management, but ultimately Best in America, rated by Inc. magazine. And it was because of that experience as an entrepreneur, combined with many years of corporate experience, that we were able to achieve the American dream. So that is why I am fighting so hard to make sure that we can create more Ayannas in this world. Bright, smart, driven women of color who just need the access to capital, the strategic networks, the connections to make it happen.
And it is so hilarious to listen to these people in their complaints, talking about these very things, because they act as if African Americans and black women are somehow just getting the lion's share of venture capital money out here, when the reality is damn near every venture capital dollar is going to white folks. I mean, the numbers are so small, it's unbelievably ridiculous.
Roland, let me tell you, in 2022, more than $288 billion was deployed in venture capital across every industry sector. These are all early stage entrepreneurial companies and startups. Of that $288 billion, 0.13% went to black women, and 0.39% went to all women of color. So when we talk about this situation, this issue, this tragedy, we are talking about mass inequities and disparities that will not be resolved unless there is more legislation and unless there are more investors and check writers that look like me and look like you.
Questions from the panel, being your first.
Yeah, I want to know, you all, the perspective of the argument that they're really forwarding here, right? They're saying that we can't have racially specific remedies to racially specific problems. And this is like their crown jewel of stopping civil rights by co-opting the language of civil rights and then wielding it against us. How are you all addressing that part?
Yeah, well, listen, I can't go into the specifics of the case itself, but what I will say is this is a planned, it is a thoughtful and very well-funded attack. As Roland alluded to earlier, this individual, Ed Bloom, was front and center in getting affirmative action overturned in higher education. He was also involved in the overturning of board legislation around diversity and inclusion in California. He's involved in Roe v. Wade. The list goes on. Sued law firms, sued West Point. And this is about eliminating any race-conscious decision-making in America and, quite frankly, weaponizing DEI. So what I would tell all of us is that this is so much bigger, this fight, than the Fearless Fund. This is all of our fight to protect our economic freedom.
Absolutely.
Larry?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for all your hard work. It's certainly appreciated. And I want to, if you could talk about, this is, as you described, and we know it's a well-financed, in multiple initiatives to go after various entities. And so can you talk about the chilling effect this is having? Because you talked about the attorneys you have are pro bono, but you just talked about all his role in multiple issues relating to affirmative action, anything they want to describe as DEI. What kind of chilling effect can it have on other minoritized organizations that are seeking to balance the playing field?
Yeah, well, it has instilled fear and intimidation. I mean, there are many organizations above and beyond the venture capital industry, but corporations who are pulling back their diversity, equity, and inclusion funding, who are eliminating the chief diversity officer role altogether. There are
Looks like we lost her signal there. Let me know when we have Ayanna Parsons back. The point that she was making there is one that is real. By what they've been doing, by sending these letters, targeting these different companies, they want to stop their DEI efforts. That's what their goal is. That's their goal. They want to shut all of them down, and they're going to target them one after another. Let me know, folks, when we have Parsons back. Rebecca, I want her to finish her thought. All right, go right ahead. So it looks like we got you back. Go ahead and finish your thought, please.
What I was saying is, if we think about the chilling effects of this lawsuit, you have major corporations that are pulling back their DEI funding, that are eliminating the chief diversity officer role altogether, or eliminating the resourcing and the support that goes along with it, let alone many of the venture capital firms and other institutions that are just rethinking their commitments to the most underserved, the most marginalized, and the most overlooked communities. So in my mind, this is it's egregious when you think about just the chilling effect that the lawsuit has had.
Mustafa.
Yeah, well, I think we're all clear, that they have a great fear in relationship to Black economic power, especially since sisters are leading in that category in many ways. I'm curious because when you shared some of the statistics that you did earlier, most folks don't have that basic understanding. There isn't the educational sort of campaign around helping folks to understand these dynamics that are playing out. If you had three wishes, how would you move forward on making sure that everyone, both brothers and sisters and others who call themselves allies, have what they need to be able to get engaged and push back?
Yes, well, number one, you can go to fearless.fund to learn more about this fight. There is a lot of information out there on the internet about this economic freedom that we are so desperately fighting for. But the other thing that we can also do as a community is get much more informed on venture capital and the startup landscape. There is a reason why Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley, and that's because billions, almost trillions of dollars are pumped into typically white individuals, white men who have started technology companies. And this goes back to the pension system. It goes back to the hard fought backs and work of folks like firefighters and police officers and teachers. I mean, my grandfather was the fire captain in Tuskegee, Alabama. And to know that he worked tirelessly and his retirement dollars would go towards not supporting our Black and brown communities, but could go towards supporting another tech company out in Silicon Valley. So these are it's topics, it's information that we have got to get educated on as a community. We have to close this wealth gap, and entrepreneurship is the way to do it.
All right, then. Yana Parsons, we really appreciate it. Good luck in court tomorrow.
Thank you so much for having me, brother. Stay strong.
All right.